Welcome to another fascinating episode of Psych with Sigmund. I'm your host, Sigmund, and today we're going to delve into the complex world of intrusive thoughts. These unwanted, often disturbing thoughts can invade our minds at any moment, leaving us feeling anxious, ashamed, or even fearful. But what exactly are intrusive thoughts, and how do they relate to human psychology? Essentially, these are unwelcome, involuntary thoughts, images, or ideas that pop into our minds without warning. They can be distressing, disturbing, or even violent, and often seem to come out of nowhere. For example, you might be going about your day when suddenly a vivid image of a car accident flashes into your mind, leaving you feeling shaken and uneasy. Or you might find yourself thinking about harming someone you love, despite having no intention of doing so. Intrusive thoughts have been a topic of interest in psychology for decades, with roots dating back to the early 20th century. One of the key psychologists who contributed to our understanding of this concept is Sigmund Freud, who believed that intrusive thoughts were a manifestation of repressed memories or desires. According to Freud, these thoughts were a way for our unconscious mind to communicate with our conscious mind, revealing hidden fears, desires, or conflicts. However, our understanding of intrusive thoughts has evolved significantly over time. Modern psychological theories suggest that these thoughts are not necessarily a sign of underlying psychopathology, but rather a common experience that many people face at some point in their lives. Research has shown that up to 90% of the general population experiences intrusive thoughts, with topics ranging from fear of contamination to violent or aggressive impulses. One major theoretical framework that helps explain intrusive thoughts is cognitive behavioral theory, CBT. According to CBT, these thoughts are a result of maladaptive thinking patterns such as rumination, catastrophizing, or all-or-nothing thinking. For instance, if you're prone to worrying about the future, you might find yourself having intrusive thoughts about worst-case scenarios, which can reinforce your anxiety and create a vicious cycle. Another important theory is the emotional processing model, which suggests that intrusive thoughts are a result of incomplete or unresolved emotional experiences. This means that when we encounter a traumatic event or stressful situation, our brain may not fully process the emotions associated with it, leading to the formation of intrusive thoughts as a way to try and make sense of what happened. Research has also shed light on the neural mechanisms underlying intrusive thoughts. Studies using functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, have shown that areas such as the amygdala, hippocampus, and prefrontal cortex are involved in the generation and maintenance of these thoughts. This suggests that intrusive thoughts may be related to abnormalities in emotional processing, memory consolidation, or executive functioning. But what does this mean for our everyday lives? How can understanding intrusive thoughts help us manage them more effectively? One key takeaway is that having intrusive thoughts doesn't mean you're flawed, abnormal, or mentally ill. Rather, it's a common experience that many people face, and there are strategies to cope with these thoughts in a healthy way. For example, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, has been shown to be effective in reducing the frequency and intensity of intrusive thoughts. This type of therapy helps individuals identify and challenge distorted thinking patterns, reframe negative thoughts, and develop coping skills to manage anxiety and stress. Acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, is another approach that focuses on increasing psychological flexibility, promoting values-based action, and cultivating mindfulness. Let me share a compelling case study that illustrates the complexity of intrusive thoughts. I worked with a client who experienced recurring images of herself in dangerous situations, such as being attacked or kidnapped. Through therapy, we uncovered that these thoughts were linked to unresolved trauma from her past, which had left her feeling vulnerable and powerless. By addressing the underlying issues and teaching her coping strategies to manage her emotions and reframe her thoughts, she was able to significantly reduce the frequency and intensity of her intrusive thoughts. Another important aspect to consider is the role of social and cultural factors in shaping our experiences of intrusive thoughts. For instance, research has shown that individuals from collectivist cultures may be more likely to experience intrusive thoughts related to social harmony or group cohesion, whereas those from individualist cultures may experience more thoughts related to personal achievement or self-esteem. In conclusion, intrusive thoughts are a complex and multifaceted phenomenon that can have a significant impact on our mental health and well-being. By understanding the theoretical background, research findings, and real-world applications of this concept, we can develop more effective strategies for managing these thoughts and promoting psychological resilience. So, the next time an unwelcome thought invades your mind, try not to judge yourself or get caught up in a cycle of anxiety and self-doubt. Instead, observe it with curiosity, acknowledging its presence without giving it power over your emotions or actions. Remember that having intrusive thoughts doesn't define you. It's just one aspect of the complex and dynamic human experience. I hope this information has been helpful in shedding light on this often misunderstood topic. If you have any further questions or would like to explore this topic in more depth, please don't hesitate to reach out. Intrusive thoughts are not just a product of our imagination, but also linked with various psychological theories, such as cognitive behavioral theory, emotional processing model, etc. These thoughts can be managed by therapies like CBT and ACT, which help individuals to reframe their thoughts, challenge distorted thinking patterns, and develop coping skills. Thanks for tuning in. That's it for today. Thanks for listening. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, may your ego find balance between pleasure and reality.